Well, it's 6:31 by the clock on the wall, and I'm going to call a meeting to order. This meeting of the Police and Fire Commission. Could we please call a roll?
Knapp,
Here.
Hayes,
Here.
Grant, Stone. Here. And Gadel.
Thank you, Kathy. Item 2, citizens' comments. No formal police and fire commission action will be taken during this meeting, although issues raised may become part of a future agenda. Participants are allotted a 3 to 5 minute speaking period. Specific items listed on the agenda may not be discussed at this time. However, citizens may speak to those issues at the time the Police and Fire Commission discusses that particular item. As there are no general citizens here, we shall go on to item 3, old business. Discussion of Chief of Police hiring timeline and process, an action item, and we welcome Judy Atkinson, the City of Whitewater Human Resources Coordinator. Thank you for being here, Judy.
Thank you, Glenn.
The primary objective tonight, folks, is to get the timeline that Judy provided for us and get some hard and fast dates and listings of who's going to be in which process.
Right.
Is that fair to say? Cause actually, I'm looking at you because you're, as HR coordinator, you're overseeing the process that we're
Yes.
talking about. So
Yes.
again, we appreciate you being here tonight. Is there anything you'd like to say generally before we get started on this?
Well, I would recommend that we take a look at, I have given you an example of a recruitment process that we've done in the last 6 months here at the City of Whitewater, and it might be helpful for you to understand what the process looks like and who was involved in the process. As we review that, I had given you the 2017 Parks and Recreation Director recruitment timeline.
Okay.
You want to review that first, and then we can go and look at our dates for the police chief?
I would suggest we take a minute to do that.
Okay, all right. Well, let me walk through it with you then.
That'd be great.
The first page is just the timeline itself. You can see the job posting was, because it was over the holidays, much like we have here, although we started December 1st already with the chief's position. We went through it was about 5 or 6 weeks. We had 71 applicants. Then 2 people, myself and Michelle Dujardin, who was acting Park and Rec Director at the time, we reviewed that 71 applicant pool and reduced it to 38. We forwarded those to Cameron Clapper, the city manager, and who then reduced it to 20 applicants. Michelle and Cameron and I did one more pass through it together, and then we reduced it to 11 applicants. And then Michelle and I did phone interviews for those people. We had established 3 different dates to do phone screens. And then and that was the beginning of March 3rd, 6th, and 8th. And then step 6 is March 30th. We had Skype interviews. We had 5 finalists for the Skype interviews. That included myself, Cameron Clapper, the city manager, as well as members of the Parks and Recreation Committee. I believe that's the name of that body. And so they were all involved, as well as some of the council members were involved in that. The in-person interviews were held on April 24th. So if you just refer to the second page, this is what that interview day looked like. We had 3 finalists, and you can see it's broken down by finalists and the different activities. And it was a course of an entire day that these 3 candidates came and met with various members of the staff and also various members of the community. We ended the day by having a reception with community members, the city council, the Park and Recreation Board, as well as urban forestry. So that gives you an idea of what an interview day can look like. Each one of the candidates got their own individualized interview process, interview day, so they knew what to expect and they knew who they were going to be meeting with. And then after that, we got feedback and went through the assessment process, made an offer on May 1st. It was accepted within a week, and the new Park and Rec Director started on June 5th. So you can see it does take some time to get things together. That's why we started talking about this a while, this last month. So anyway, to get back to our timeline, shall we talk through it step by step?
If we could, please. First of all, thank you so much for this. This is incredibly helpful, at least to me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. There was a piece of marketing material, too, that was sent out along with at some of the postings. I was able to attach it for the different locations for posting. It was just a brochure about the Park and Recreation Department, the City of Whitewater, as well as the position itself and contact information.
Excellent.
So, okay.
Okay, so then, on the document that we have, that Judy provided the timeline, we have accomplished 1, 2, and 3 on the first page. The job has been posted, yes?
Yes, the job has been posted, and we have 7 applicants so far.
Okay. And can you just give us a brief rundown of the where it's been posted currently, please?
It's been posted to the City of Whitewater's website. It's been posted on government jobs. It's been posted on, I believe, WileyNet and the WisconsinChiefs.org site. I'm waiting to get feedback on verbiage for ads. And so I look to this body to give me that feedback. I worked with our Public Relations and Communications Manager to create some various sizes of posting language.
Have we been able to post on the policecareerfinder.com?
I may have done that.
Okay.
I apologize. I
Oh,
didn't
no
write
problem. I saw it here, I thought I'd
down.
ask.
Yep,
If you can check on that, that'd be great.
I will.
Thank you so much. So if we look at the Park and Rec Director recruitment timeline and look at our own timeline, we know that it's been posted out there, and I believe until January 12.
Correct.
So then, as the HR coordinator, when would you recommend that first pass-through of applications in terms of date?
Well, it closes on the 12th, so I would like to see, and I believe, let me just check the calendar as far as what day of the week that is.
That's a Friday.
It is a Friday, so I would like to get those distributed by the Monday, the 18th, to whoever's going to be the applicant review.
Okay, actually, the 12th is a Friday, so are you thinking Monday the 15th?
Oh, I was looking at December, I apologize.
Oh,
Yeah,
no
the
problem.
15th. Yep, the 15th.
That'd be great. So, would you recommend 2 people on that initial review of applications?
Yes, at least 2.
And is that inclusive of yourself, or 2 you plus?
Yes, myself plus another person, and we'll put together what the must-haves are that you're looking for as we're reviewing the applications.
And by doing that, we could, that checklist, for lack of a better term, we could distribute that amongst the commission for feedback, Kathy, but we would not have to vote on that? Would that be correct? If we have a checklist to review candidates, would we have to vote on that to approve it, or can we just say that we have?
Well, if
If it comes from HR, we're okay, right?
Yeah,
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 okay.
I would assume so.
Okay, all right.
I mean, it's part of the city's
Process.
process.
So I'd like to, what I think we should have happen then is have Judy create a draft and forward it to us just for feedback to see what's there. I would be happy to serve on that initial review
Okay,
of applicants, unless there's objection from the commission. And I would love it on the 15th of January, because I'm completely open that day.
okay, great.
Let me put that in, please.
And what I've done in the past is just forward all the applications to the people who are doing the application review. It's not a group discussion. It can be, though, to
Okay.
do a, step-by-step review of the applicants.
I'll block out all day in hopes that we'll just have that many people.
Okay,
So that would occur then, initial review on January 15th. Okay, at which point, going on the next aspect, then the second review was done by the city manager. Is that
for the Park and Rec
for Park and
Director?
Rec? I'm not certain that's appropriate in this case.
No,
Okay.
it would not be. I gave you this as just an example of
Yeah.
something that's been done in the past, so
Yeah.
I don't know that that would be necessary.
So then I look to, Dennis and Beverly and saying, looking at the Park and Rec one, should we then, after the initial round, have the second application review, be the entire commission? I don't know how involved you wish to be in this process at this point in time. So we could do that, or we could have Judy and I do a second round, giving it a little breathing room if you wish.
You'll be eliminating some people by then, right?
Yes. We will eliminate some people after the initial review, and then I think we need potentially a second application review. I'm looking at item 4 in the Park and Rec.
We may or may not.
We may or may
depending
not,
upon the
so-
volume. The Park and Rec had 71 applicants, and that's why it was determined we needed to do 2 rounds.
Well, what we could do
Because of volume.
also, if we could have the review of applications, and what you state here is compile a list and select the top up to 15 candidates, at which point then we could do the Skype interviews. So from the Park and Rec, we really wouldn't need those 3 and 4. We would do the phone screens
Right.
subsequently. Those phone screens could occur, I'm looking at the week of January 22, would you suggest, or later than that? That's, if we review on the 15th,
We have to reach out to the candidates, make sure that they're available to be involved in a telephone
right,
call. So it's really respectful to give candidates about a
Okay.
week's notice.
okay. So maybe the week of January 29, or would you suggest going out to February 5?
I wouldn't, I'd prefer not to go out that far. We could even go, for example, depending upon how many candidates we have, we could go the 24th or 25th.
Okay,
And I would recommend what we did for the phone interviews for Park and Rec. We had some during the day and some in the later afternoon, early evening. And that seemed to work out well. We did some lunchtime for people and then some in the early evening.
thoughts from the commission? Beverly, Denny, does that sound good to you?
Yeah, that sounds okay.
Okay.
So Thursday, January 25th for phones? Are you available?
Wednesday, the 24th, and Thursday, the 25th.
Okay.
Kathy, you getting this down also?
Yes.
Okay.
And who will be in the phone interview, but in addition to myself?
I'll be involved with that, and I'm
Okay.
hoping available commission members will be.
Okay,
Those are the phone screens, correct?
yes. I would hope, as we move to the next step, the Skype interview, if we go that route, that would be where I would like to see all the commission be involved.
I agree on that one.
Yeah,
Be very
definitely,
helpful.
definitely. And that's about, looks to be 3 weeks following.
It doesn't necessarily have to. It was a matter of scheduling for the people involved in the interview process. It was tough to get people together. That's what lagged for time with that specific recruitment. But if we did the phone interviews the 24th, 25th, we'll do our analysis, and then essentially we could do the week of the 5th of February, probably, sometime then to do Skype interviews. If that's too aggressive, let me know, please.
I would like to see it move forward then. Might I suggest that we set up some sort of survey or calendar access, and we can get that to the commission. If you and I could meet briefly after this
Sure.
and talk about that. So the week of February, February?
February
Yeah,
5th,
February 5.
the week of, yes. And I would recommend that Cameron be involved in that as well, the city manager.
I would concur. Beverly, Denny, do you agree?
Yes.
Any thoughts on the council president to be involved in that?
Personally, since we have a council representative, I would think no.
Okay, all right.
Other thoughts? We have a council representative, and it is our,
It's true.
Yeah, it's our deal.
It's our responsibility.
Yeah, it's our deal, yeah.
and we have a council representative already, so.
Okay, great.
And these times are to be announced, correct?
Pardon me?
The days, but the time is going to be announced later?
Yeah.
The time of day?
Right.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even for the Skype interviews, it'll be, over 1 or 2 days, depending on candidate availability.
And it's usually what works best is late afternoon, early evening. Like this time frame even.
Which for me is going to be a Tuesday, Thursday.
Okay, well, we'll write that down then.
We'll check with the other members.
Yep.
Then after Skype, about 3 weeks later, you had the live interviews. So that puts us, it's gonna be.
The week of the 26th of February or the 5th of March?
The week of the 25th of February would be a lot better for me.
Okay.
I'm not sure about anybody else. Any objections to the week of, we said the 26th, yeah, of February, potentially for live interviews?
Fine with me.
Any? Bev?
Yeah,
Okay.
Week of February 26th, okay.
So on-site interviews.
Is there any thought to having kind of the directors, like they had in here, the managerial panel, as a part of the interviews?
Thoughts about, Lisa was asking about in the personal interviews, the process where various directors met with them.
It would be nice if there could be some type of group, because this person's going to be on that team as well, to have those folks be involved in the interviews. I'd also like to see that there be some type of open house or coffee
yeah,
or something
yeah.
with the police officers as well. And you had recommended doing a ride-along, didn't you, Glenn, for candidates?
If they could.
If they could.
Just-
And we also need, I would also recommend that the chief from the university be involved in the interview as well, in some way, shape, or form, if that's appropriate.
We've not had that in the past, but.
There's,
I think the actual goal tonight is to get more of the dates down,
okay, and
And-
not the detail.
not the detail
Okay.
past the Skype interview.
Okay, perfect.
I think I'd feel more comfortable with the other two members here as well. We have quorum, but I don't want to,
Right.
I think going through the Skype interviews and then getting dates afterwards and actually, the in-person interviews, once we have that, I'm feeling good about things.
Okay, good.
Since you are here, Chief, this is a little macabre, talking about this, and also rather emotional, because we know you'll be, after so many years of phenomenal service to the city.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
I didn't think so.
it's been a great ride.
Yeah, do you think that I think, it seems logical that meeting with the other directors would be a good logical step.
They're big partners in the overall functionality of the organization. We have meetings every month, and I think that it would be very good. I've had the opportunity to be on those. Judy has facilitated those for other director positions with the city. And I think everybody, not that they get a vote to say yes or no, but you
Right.
get kind of a flavor for what, a lot of it is about fit in the organization, fit within the team members within the city structure. I think that would be very, very
Okay,
valuable.
okay, so let's work to make that happen then.
Okay.
So, yeah, on looking at, I think we've gotten everything down through the Skype interviews, item 7 on the proposal from Judy.
Great.
I think the in-person interviews, if we can say, okay, we're going to target the week of February 26th. And as everyone knows, depending on weather and everything else, things are flexible.
Right.
Then we can figure out that plan from there, because we'll have a meeting before that occurs. So, any comments about the timeline, the process up to that point? Everyone feel good with it?
Yep.
Kathy, do we need to approve that timeline?
We can.
I think it'd be
If you'd like
good.
to.
I'll entertain a motion to approve the timeline as we have it to this point in time, please. We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Further discussion? I just want to say, I thank my fellow commissioners. I know we seem to be doing things very, very methodically, but I think that's obviously very, very important, and I want your input. So, we'll call the roll, please.
Excellent, thank you. Knapp,
Yep. Yeah, here, right, sure.
Hayes,
Aye.
Stone.
Okay, the other thing that Judy's asked us to do tonight is she handed out a page called Police Chief Ad Verbiage. And could you just walk us through this, please, Judy?
Sure. We have a couple of different statements to put into different publications, and they're different sizes because with publications, depending upon how many words there are, it's just a matter of the cost. So I just want to make sure, when I worked with Kristen, we just wanted to hit the high points and what are the things that you really want to bring to the forefront for this posting as we're trying to draw people, candidates, into looking more at the position. The position description is completely online on our website, so, and through the application process. So I'm just looking to you, and the one piece that we need to talk about is, as far as residency, is there many of our positions have, I think the officers have some type of, they have to be within so many minutes or so many miles. Pardon me?
20 miles by contract.
20 miles. So,
I thought the city decided, and again, I don't know the legalities to it and what Act 10 imposed and some of the regulations that Act 10, but Governor Walker definitely addressed employment and residency issues unless it's contractual. But the city then changed it to within the school district. So that's kind of the theme they've used. It was in the city, and then Act 10 came. So I can't speak to what it should or shouldn't be, but those are just some of the moving parts.
Well, the current standard is within the school district, correct?
That is what my position is within the school district.
Beverly, Denny, do you have any objection to maintaining that?
No, I believe it should be in the school district.
And since it is the current standard, I don't think we need to vote on it. I think we just continue the policy.
Yeah, I think it's in our, is it in your contract?
It is in my contract.
Yep, yep. So that
So,
would be-
so we can say a successful candidate must live within the Whitewater Unified School District.
okay, and there's some, oftentimes relocation expenses are put in an ad of some sort. So is that something I should talk with Cameron about?
That would have to be a Cameron issue because they control all the economics of it.
Right, okay.
And
I-
that usually happens after the conditional offer, at least that's what
Right.
it was last time.
Having had a brief moment to review the 5 options here, does any member of the commission have?
Curious, what is the thought of where this is going to be posted, like in a newspaper?
It'll be posted in various, it can be put on websites, the various posting locations, as well as a newspaper. My goal is to get people to draw them to go to the city's website and then apply online. Everybody's going to be directed to do the application process online. Just makes things clean and consistent.
Well, if we're looking at print, the smallest is always the least expensive.
Right. I mean, Judy's absolutely right. You want to get the biggest draw. The only challenge is it's the certifications and the requirements that you need to be a sworn law enforcement officer. It's the only position we don't advertise beyond Wiley Net is the police officer's position. And
Okay.
it's mostly because of that. It's just, it's a pool and it's so big. And with that requirement of that law enforcement position, you have to be a certified law enforcement officer, so.
In the state of Wisconsin or anywhere?
No, I mean, no, other states, you just
Okay.
would have to, every state's different.
Right.
What you would have to do, some of them just make you take a test, some of them make you take certain components of the academy to adhere to the standards within the state. Every state is different.
Okay.
So no, you can work in another, you can be a sworn officer in another state,
Okay.
so.
So if you're a sworn officer, you can be. I suppose that wouldn't be an actual given. The UW System Regents just voted that you don't have to have a terminal academic degree to serve in a higher administration position or any education background whatsoever. So I can see where someone who has, not had any police background could think, oh, I could do that. I'm a manager. So maybe we should have something that states qualified candidate must be a sworn officer.
You want to add that?
If we
Because a
could.
qualified candidate, and then when they go to the website, then that is one of the requirements.
Mm-hmm.
But you want that in the posting?
Well, if it's in the job description, then we don't need it in the posting.
Right,
Yeah,
that's all I'm
okay.
saying, it's like, I mean,
Okay.
I'm thinking, you're thinking the same thing. The
Yep.
CEO of a company has tremendous leadership skills.
Right.
So I could see some people thinking, yeah, but you're right, if the goal is to get them to the website and all the answers are there.
Yeah, and it's seeking qualified candidates. We've got that language there to ensure that as long as you meet the qualifications, which are on the
Online.
website, you're good to go.
Excellent. So, thoughts on which of these wonderful paragraphs?
Well, they can be any and all, depending upon where they're posted.
okay.
I just wanted to make sure that this language, the piece is, demonstrating great integrity, leadership, communication, and law enforcement skills, are those, we were trying to highlight various things from the job description. And,
Okay.
of course, the more words, the more information is given from the job description as well.
So you don't need us to pick one of these then?
No, I just need you to approve, to give me a thumbs up that the language is acceptable.
Oh, absolutely.
Shall we? I'll go. There we go.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. They'll thank you for all your work. So I think we are good to go. Anything else from Judy? Anything from you?
No, thank you.
Anything
Thank you
else on
for
this
your
from
involvement.
the commission? Well, we so appreciate all of your work, most sincerely.
My pleasure.
Okay, next meeting. Would a Thursday night? Oh, wait, no. That won't work. I just realized my calendar's not correct here. The Skype interviews, okay? The week of February 5. That's what we decided? Yeah. Why did I put those there?
Yes.
Yeah, phone interviews, 24, 25.
Yep.
Okay. How about the next meeting then after the phone interviews? Of Wednesday, January 31st, and before the Skype interviews?
Good.
I need to double check with municipal court. They have this room scheduled every Wednesday,
Okay.
so I can check with her. Generally,
Or-
she's
yeah.
been letting us,
Wait, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't mean to interrupt, but I realized it's second semester, so I'm good on Thursdays also. We could go Thursday, February 1?
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Let's do that, please.
February 1st?
February 1st. At 6:30? And that will be an eventful meeting. Lots of information.
And you'll have PARD down to 10 by then?
We should have, yeah. That's the goal. So, okay. Anything else?
Can I just throw it out here? I mean, you guys, it
Sure.
may be completely addressed in the interviews and stuff, but we're an accredited law enforcement agency and have been since 1999. So I don't know if we want to put that in any of this language or just address that later.
That should be somewhere on the,
It should be, and I couldn't get a clear answer. What is the accreditation? What is the title of the accreditation?
Y-League accreditation. It's
Y-League,
a law
okay.
enforcement accreditation group. I mean, many of the duties is maintaining that professional set of standards.
So it's WILE, all caps?
WILE.
Okay,
AG,
accreditation.
Accreditation group.
Okay, group, okay. I can add that to the verbiage.
Would that be a plus or a minus for an applicant? I mean, would somebody actually, would an applicant have a problem with that? And, I mean, we have the accreditation, obviously we're gonna keep it, but would that sway somebody away?
It could, it's a lot of work. Really, it comes down to if the commission values the accreditation that we've maintained, which is the best, highest core of professional standards in the industry. It's making sure that you're doing policing right. A good example is, reviewing your policies. There's an accreditation standard that you have to review your policies comprehensively every 3 years. I think everybody would like to be able to do that, but to actually do it
Sure.
is an accreditation standard. We have 4 to 6 inspections of our evidence room every year. Again, that's a best practice. That's a best standard. Not every police department inspects your evidence room.
Right. But
So it is, I mean, people will tell you it's a lot of work. What's nice about the department is we've been accredited since 1999, so the core standards and all of the standards, the infrastructure is solid.
Yep.
It's here.
Sure.
It's not like, oh my gosh, I didn't know we need to inspect the evidence room. They know they need to inspect the evidence room. So it really is the best of professional standards in the industry. So if the commission doesn't think that they want to maintain that, then maybe don't highlight it. But for chiefs that are really looking for departments that are squared away, I can tell you that's a positive. That's telling any applicant, I'm walking into a department that's squared away.
Right, yes, I could see that. That's almost like pre-weeding out somebody that's not gonna come to our standards.
And not really understand the standards. Like, if you don't understand and you haven't embraced accreditation and understand it, even if you don't do it in your own agency, if it's there, you understand the value of it. If you don't and you're not committed to it, then it's not gonna be maintained.
I'd hate the city to lose something like that.
I would too. I think this department has worked very hard to maintain those professional standards and to be reaccredited. This will be our 6th time in 2018. Will be our 6th reaccreditation. So that's, we've actually had patrol applicants that said, I applied because you're an accredited agency.
I think it's a plus. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'll add that to the verbiage then.
And since 1999.
Yep, got that down there too.
Well,
Anything
we were
else?
CALIA in 1999 and Y-League in 2001. I don't know if that makes a difference. But accredited is the status. Who you're accredited from is the only thing. So I think if we just say national accreditation, accredited law enforcement agency, we'll
Is it
probably,
national?
it's national throughout the United States. Well, Y-League is not, I'm sorry. CALIA is, but Y-League is specific to Wisconsin. So it's the state.
How would it be
State
titled?
accreditation.
State,
State accredited law enforcement agency.
okay. Enforcement agency since 1999. Great.
And on that note, we want to congratulate the Walworth County Sheriff's Department,
Yes.
who just
They just,
received
that's,
their,
there are only 3 in the state of Wisconsin, sheriff's offices.
and I understand that they came out 100%.
They did. I'm actually on the governing board for Y-League.
Oh, very good.
And I was one of the people that voted, and they were unanimously
Wonderful.
recommended. I think there's 22 governing board members, so that's quite
Excellent.
an accomplishment. So
Fantastic.
kudos to them. They did a really good job.
On the next agenda item, we'll be crafting the questions and finalizing schedule for on-site interviews. Because at that point in time, we have to, in the Skype interviews, make sure we're asking the same questions of each candidate and having all our ducks in a row for the on-site interviews. Anything else can be sent to Kathy unless either of the commission members have something right now put on that agenda?
If I could just ask,
Please.
when you add those questions, if you could just have in front of you the accreditation standard, best practices for hiring. There's certain standards, I would assume, I don't know that it would ever be approved for the chief of police, but there are certain standards, and I'm confident we adhere to all of them. Judy would adhere to all of them, but just being familiar with those standards through the
Okay.
accreditation.
Can we get a copy of those? Okay. Good, and maybe I can, since I'm going to be part of the first review of applicants, I can meet with you and highlight a few things. Excellent. Anything else for the common good? Then I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make motion to adjourn?
So move. Is there a second? Kathy Boyd, would you please call the roll?
Okay, Knapp,
Yes.
Hayes,
Aye.
Stone.
Motion carries. Wishing you all a very happy and restful and rejuvenating holiday season. Thank you, everyone.